going way back to when Trump was running, there was a lot of anxiety with a lot of refugees. And I kept saying, it's going to be okay. You know, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it, you know. And then I remember the day after the election, I had 2 or 3 women come to me in tears. And it was like heartbreaking. And one of the things that was interesting to me is they said, we've seen presidents and dictators in our country that don't like us, and we know what they can do. And for them, you know, being here and having a president that had expressed feelings of dislike for the countries that they were coming from was terrifying for them.
Even right now, I see at the store, like, people don't think that we speak English, and it's just like, they talk bad about you, and I'm just like, but it's definitely gotten worse since the Trump election. Even when I'm driving, I'm scared. Driving, like, in our neighborhood, like, I live in Bell, so, like, there's, at the street light, whatever, like, when you look over, they just glare at you. My friend who was, like, she lives a few blocks away, she was in the car with her kids, and a guy, like, rolled on his window and, like, started swearing at her, so go back to where you came from. And her little kids were in the back, and it's just like, and he followed her into the store. And it's just like, she's never received that before, that's never happened to her, and it's, like, happening more and more.
Because we had politicians that now felt comfortable verbalizing their animosity or their disapproval of certain people from certain countries, then other people started feeling more comfortable that maybe would have never ever said anything before about Muslims or about people from certain places, that they started feeling like it was okay to express fear, and I don't know if hatred's is too strong of a word, but that they were displeased with them being here.
A few months ago, I got called terrorist at a store, and it's just like, and it was coming from a little 5-year-old. It was not coming from an adult. It was coming from a little 5-year-old. She's like, "Oh, Mom, look, a terrorist." And my mom's like, "Oh, no, those are the good people." And she's like, "You're teaching your little child that, like, at that young age."
So what that did is it made refugees really wonder who was on their side here, who really still cared about them, and were there all these people that they thought cared about them that really didn't, because now people felt more comfortable expressing how they really felt, maybe about their religion or about the country that they came from. And so all of a sudden, I think there was this distrust that some refugees felt about the people around them. Who really likes me? Who is really wanting to be supportive of me? Who still really cares? Or are they all like this president who doesn't like us?
I think over the years it's gotten better and better. Then all of a sudden Trump became president, and, like, all the hateful people just came out, and it's just like, okay, people who you thought, like, were nice and, like, were your friends, was like, no. They always had that certain hate in their hearts, but they never expressed it. And now is their chance to express it. And that's when the truth came out, and it's just like, wow, there's so much hate in this world that you never thought existed.
I think Utah has this culture of being nice to others and being accepting. So I did not experience any specific things, but I heard a lot of stories of Iranians or other people, like, experiencing more discrimination than before, and people are being more upfront about their opinions, racist opinions, I should say.
What we don't realize is they have a lot of friends and families that are left behind. And, you know, there were several families that talked to me about how they were hopeful that eventually they would have family members be able to come, and now they've lost hope that they'll ever be able to come.
My own cousin, he's a Baha'i. He is stuck in Turkey for over 3 years now without any sort of plans and any sort of hope if he can make it to US, ever. And so I think it's not fair. I think it's not fair that I had no chance of having my family here to visit me and my daughter, their first and only grandchild.
They're trying to get out, but they said because of travel ban, like, all their paperwork has been, like, put on hold, and they can't come here. And it's just like they passed all the tests. Like, there's a, like, very intensive test you have to go through. if you say one little thing wrong, you'll be held back, you know, and it's just like, it takes years and years, like, to even come to America.
Frequently, a refugee has left their original country and gone to a secondary country because it's no longer safe. And they don't leave just because they think, oh, this other country sounds nice. They leave because they're physically in danger, they can't stay there, they won't survive.
We have no other choice. We have to come here because we want to live. We want to see the future for our kids, you know.
And it can take up to 2 to 5 to 10 years for a refugee to receive refugee status.
My mom said she never imagined coming to America at all whatsoever. Like, no one's dream was to come and be torn from your own, like, lifestyle and such.
Maybe if we didn't make it to the USA and we're still in the Middle East, we all may have passed away because we were looking for a better life.
And they don't get to pick the United States. It's picked for them. You know, they don't decide where they're going to go. And only 1% of refugees in refugee camps are ever given refugee status and sent to a secondary country. 1%.
He feels like he's more lucky than 100,000 other Syrian refugees.
And the United States isn't even on the top list of the top 10 list of hosting countries. We take very few refugees.
So there's only around 500 Syrian families who's like in the USA at this moment, out of 5 million refugees around the world.
I mean, we're one of the most amazing countries in the world, yet we take the fewest of the most needy in the world. To me, that's heartbreaking.